Welcome back to the Vanessa G Fitcast. I'm Vanessa Gillette Pozos, and here with me today, I have a very special guest who I'm super excited to talk to today. This is Miss Kelsey Lensman. So, Kelsey, she is a certified nutrition and sports medicine specialist, entrepreneur, and highly sought after speaker with a passion for women's fitness. She owns EmpowHER Fitness that coaches women all around the country in their nutrition, fitness, and mindset. She also runs EmpowHER Events, which are all women's international strength events that challenge women to step out of their comfort zone and show themselves they're stronger than they think. Her unique approach to fitness has helped hundreds of women get results, grow their mindset, and become strong, confident versions of themselves. She's also has a really impressive background herself. She's a 5-time bodybuilding competitor, 3-time powerlifting competitor, and loves pushing her own boundaries. And now what I'm really excited to talk to her about today is that she is currently pursuing Mission 48, where she will actually compete in 48 fitness competitions in 48 states in 48 days to raise money for ROX, which is Ruling Our Experiences, a 501c3 that develops confident girls who control their own relationships, experiences, decisions, and futures. So her goal is to inspire women to do hard things, push their limits, and build true self-confidence. Kelsey, welcome to the show.
Vanessa, geez, can you follow me around everywhere? I would give me a little ego boost. I appreciate it. And it's funny, anytime somebody says about Mission 48, the 48 states and 48 or comps in 48 states, I'm like, oh Lord, this means I actually got to do it. So I just appreciate you having me on and sharing with your audience. I know our messages are very aligned and our beliefs are aligned. So I'm excited to have this conversation with you.
Yeah, I mean, for our listeners, Kelsey and I, we became friends a few years ago when we actually were in a business mastermind together
Yeah.
and we got to know each other well. We were building similar businesses and we, like Kelsey said, we were very aligned in our values. And so we couldn't help but become friends. And it's been really cool, Kelsey, to just watch what you've been doing from afar. And especially once I heard about Mission 48, I was just like, oh my gosh, I have so many questions. And I'm so glad that we were able to ask those questions live in front of our podcast audience here. So let's start out. Tell me a little bit more about what is Mission 48?
Oh man. So it's a loaded backstory too with it. So what Mission 48 is for those that have not heard of it at all. It's 48 different fitness competitions. So it's everything from a marathon one day, which I hate running, to a powerlifting meet. And we do that in 48 states in 48 days. And the real big goal, Vanessa, is not just to have me like trot around the country and people watch me, but is to really get women and young girls, they're just close to my heart, to have them step out of their comfort zone with me. Because I know I'm going to be uncomfortable during this. There'll be multiple times where I'm like, why did I do this? But is to really have women and young girls to be like, hey, I didn't think that I could do whatever, half marathon, 2K, 5K, like whatever that is. They do it. And it's like, wait, if I can do that, like what else am I limiting myself to? And so that's the big goal, is to really bring a lot of women and young girls together with that. Obviously, we're partnering with ROX, which that charity has like such a deep place in my heart because of what they're sharing with young girls. It's talking about stuff about social media, about body image, about just confidence, everything that personally I wish I had way back in the day when I was 8, 7, 8, 10 years old. So that's our big focus with Mission 48. Obviously, there's a lot of back end logistics that need figured out. But just to have a movement of women just doing some badass things is my goal.
Heck yes. I mean, I know when I was reading through the details that you would send over to me, I was just thinking for myself, oh man, I wish when I was a young girl that I had had essentially like a role model, somebody to look up to like
Yeah.
yourself, who's doing just really impressive things and is a female and is showing that, hey, we can do these things. We can be strong as women. We can push ourselves.
Yeah.
It's really, really inspiring what you're doing. And I'm sure for these young women in rocks, they probably feel the same way, which I imagine that's really what's driving you. I'm curious of like,
Yeah.
how did you come up with the competitions and everything involved in Mission 48? Because I was looking at the list and oh my gosh, girl, it's a lot.
Yeah. Oh, it is. And it's funny. I was talking to a venue yesterday because in every single state, we're partnering with either a gym or a local club to like put on this event. And they're like, oh, like what company is Mission 48? I'm like, no, it's just an idea that I had. And like now it's coming to life. But this idea, Vanessa, was 2 years ago. Like this was not a recent thing. It was probably 2.5 years ago, actually. That I was watching a documentary from Iron Cowboy. Have you ever heard of him
I
before?
have, yeah.
Oh, so, okay, so you know a little background. For those that haven't heard, he did 50 Ironmans, which is a full marathon, 100+ mile bike, if I'm not mistaken, and like a 2+ mile swim. Things that's way out of my wheelhouse, I'll tell you that. And he did 50 of those in 50 states in 50 days with the kicker, 5 kids in an RV, which is like wild to me. But I was watching this documentary, Vanessa, and I was like just so invested and engaged into his journey, the high moments, yes, but also the low moments where he was like why am I doing this, and in those hard pieces of it. And I know for me it really got me thinking about my journey, and I'd imagine a lot of your women and girls that listen to this too, of hey, there's going to be some high momentum moments, right? Like everything's going well, you're like, oh, I'm crushing it. But also there's going to be some moments of adversity, there's going to be some moments of resistance, and it's how you show up in those moments that truly determine not only your future, right, but like developing the characteristics as a human being. And I remember just sitting on my couch and I was watching that and I'm like, man, I am so inspired by this. And once again, like you might have had this before, the question of like, what if, well, what if I did? And then it was the 48 competitions. I was like, I love pushing my boundaries, not just in powerlifting or running, even though I hate running, or like any other spot. I'm like, well, what if I did a bunch of different competitions, but I originally had Vanessa in 48 states similarly, but in 48 weeks. So I was going for the last 2 years, I had it planned where I'm like, oh, I could do a Spartan race on a Saturday. And then if I'm in Kansas, I could talk to a school on a Wednesday or something like that. And then about 2.5 months ago, once again, this was my plan the whole time. 2.5 months ago, I was on a call with a guy that just knows way more about putting something like that together than I do. And he was like, Kels, he goes, he kept saying 48 comps in 48 states in 48 days, like just bypassing. And I'm like, no, 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 no. I just want to let you know, like, this is weeks, not days that are vastly different. And he's like, well, you ever thought about days? And I'm like, well, maybe a fleeting thought when I first watched a documentary 2 years ago, but not normally because I want to do this and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, we got to think about it, Kels. Like people today, we have an attention span of a goldfish. Like we don't have that attention span where people will be engaged for a whole year. And he's like, if you want to have the impact that you want to have, doing it for that whole year, you're going to lose people, girl. So that's when we literally changed the logistics within 24 hours, rewrote the entire plan, and now it's 48 days.
Gosh, I mean, that even hearing that backstory now of it being 48 weeks, originally being essentially a
Yeah.
year, and shortening that down to 48 days. I mean, you guys, this is amazing what Kelsey is about to take on, because 48 days of just fitness straight in a row in general, not
Yeah.
even thinking about like the types of fitness that she's doing, that's really hard on your body. But now if you like look at the list of things that Kelsey is doing across these 48 days, like I know I saw in there, obviously like there was the half marathon, but then on day what, like 40 days in, now you're running a marathon. So that's
Yeah, I
after
don't want
like
to talk about
there's like
that.
39 days of just hard competitions day after day. And now she's running a marathon, 40 days in, and then she still has another 8 days or so of more things to do.
Yeah.
I mean, this sounds hard. I am just genuinely, for my own curiosity, what is your plan to like manage your recovery, manage your mind, and just like make sure that you stay healthy during this process?
That is by far, Vanessa, like the biggest focus for me right now, because it's like you can only perform as well as you recover. And you know this, your audience knows this. They probably hear you preach about it all the time, of especially for females, if you just beat your body into the ground over and over again, like it ain't happening. And so I'll be honest with you. Yes, I'm thinking about it on the trip, but a lot of this stuff I'm going to have to learn on the fly. Like I've never done this before. So like I can only project so far of like, okay, I'll do this for recovery. I'll do, this cold plunge and stuff like that. But I know that there's going to be days more mentally, honestly, than anything in my thought process too. Because yes, my physical body, but I know I've done different things. I did actually this one event, Vanessa, where it was 24 different fitness, not competitions, but like fitness workouts or events in 24 hours. So we did one every hour on the hour.
Sheesh.
And dude, it was incredible just to see the people doing it. But what I realized in that event is our mind quits before our body does, every single time. And so for me, especially going on this whole big endeavor coming up, it's like I know I mentally got to keep myself sane more than anything. And for me, like I said, I don't know what to expect really because I've never done it. but I'm going to have to dig deep. And that's what I really want to share, honestly, with the audience, or like as we shared on social, is not just, oh, look at Kels crushing this event, but it's like, hey, when she's coming up against this really hard thing, more mentally than anything, like how does she dig herself out of it? Or how does she just need to take a cry for a second, get the emotions out and pick herself back up? And that's what I really want to show through this, because I know there's women out there that it's like, hey, I've been there. It might not be doing this crazy Mission 48, but it might be, hey, I'm stalling in my fitness, right? I'm not making the progress that I thought I was making. Or in my career, man, I'm logging onto my computer every day and like I'm not very fulfilled, or just hard moments in their life that I hope that's what translates more than anything is, yes, the competitions, but like the moments there that everybody can relate to in their own life, you know? So that doesn't answer your
Absolutely.
question, but hopefully that's a roundabout answer to saying, I have no clue. We'll figure it out.
Well, I mean, what I'm hearing is really what you're emphasizing there of it truly your mindset is the most important thing to train
Yeah.
above all else to get through something like this, because you could train your body to,
Yeah.
peak level of fitness, but if your mindset isn't at its peak level, you're not going to be able to get through the 48 days. So
Yeah.
I'm curious of like, like you mentioned there before, of this type of stuff is applicable to even just women who are wanting to push themselves in any area of their life, whether
Yeah.
that is just trying to keep up with their workout routine or, get to the next level in their fitness. So what are some, maybe mentality keys or just
Mm.
mindset tools that you could offer them that maybe you're using for yourself?
Oh, that's good. That's good. The one thing that automatically comes up in my brain is that discomfort isn't bad. And what I mean by that, this might be for the girl that is stepping into the gym the first time. And I know this was me when I first started Vanessa. Stepping in the gym, looking at all these equipment. How do you even operate all this equipment here? Am I putting on the weights the right side? Oh, do I look like a fool doing this? And that can elicit a lot of uncomfortable feelings, right? Some people might say that's an anxiety feeling. Some people might say like, oh, just my stomach doesn't even feel good, you know? And I think for me, I back in the day, I thought that that feeling was wrong, right? Whenever I'm uncomfortable, that means, ooh, retreat, don't do that. And what I've learned in my own personal journey, not even just in fitness, but just in life, is sometimes when you feel uncomfortable, that's exactly where you need to be. And you need to keep pursuing that discomfort. Doesn't mean your whole life is going to be one uncomfortable life, but it means like when you keep leveling up, there's going to be a level of discomfort there. There's going to be a level of uncomfortability because you've never done it before, you know? And same thing for me. Like I've never done the 48 competitions, let alone in 48 states in 48 days. Like I've never done that before. And so I know that there's going to be times where I'm like, oh, this is uncomfortable. I want to quit. I want to go back to doing what I was doing before, because our brain and our body will always retreat back to what is known and what is comfortable, you know? And so there's so many other mindset keys that I want to pull into this, but one of the biggest ones is that discomfort is not bad, that it actually can lead you into new levels that you could never imagine. And so if you're feeling those feelings, especially if they're a part of your fitness program, it's like, oh, it's a little bit uncomfortable. Like I'm not used to getting to this next level. Great. That's your North Star. Keep freaking going, because you're going to be amazed about where this is going to lead you in the future.
Oh man, I just love everything that you're saying here because I've seen this, in my own coaching of the women that we've worked with. Same thing. It's really
Yeah.
understanding that discomfort is a good thing and really familiarizing yourself with that feeling, how it shows up in you, and learning to lean into it and almost use it as a sign of, hey, this is good. I'm pushing myself here and it's good
Yeah.
to push myself. I know that's one of your really messages that you want to push across with Mission 48 is that it is important for women to do hard things and to actually step out of their comfort zone. Can you speak
Yeah.
to that a little bit more? Like why is that? Why should we
Oh
do
my
these
gosh.
hard
Yeah.
things?
Well, I'll tell you this. I never thought I'd be here today, ever in my life. And as if the high school Kelsey would see the Kelsey today, she'd be like, "Are you out of your mind? Like what?" Not only just physically, I never thought I could pick up the weight that I'm picking up, do physically the things. I just did a handstand today, and I don't do handstands ever, you know. So it's like I never thought physically I could do what I'm doing, let alone like you. You're leading a massive business, an amazing mission. I never thought I could own a business, you know? I mean, came from a great family. Like, it's not like that was missing for me, but it was more of my internal confidence within myself. And so, all of those pieces, I think my biggest message is when you push your limits, you unlock capabilities within you that you never knew existed, you know? And at least for me, it started in my physical body first. Like, I remember I went to Ohio State here, and I was at the big rec center, and everybody's watching you, you know? And it was when I was first getting into weightlifting and just training. And I remember I had a back squat I don't even remember the weight. It might have been like 95 pounds, no clue. But I was doing X amount of reps. And I was supposed to do 10, but I'm like, ooh, I can do 12. And then I went to 15. And then I finally hit 20. And I remember racking that weight right there, Vanessa. And I remember being like, I thought I could only do 10 and I did double that. And it's like when you, for me at least, when I unlocked that physical capability, I was like, wait. Well, then what else can I do in this exercise? Then what else can I do over here? And then that led to me in my life. I completely 180'd my entire life direction 2 months before I graduated. I always thought I was going to go to physical therapy grad school. And then I had that gut feeling of like, hey, Kelsey, there's something else out there for you. And I know if I did not unlock my physical capability 8, 10 months prior and break that belief, I would have never had the courage to pursue owning a business, stepping out of undergrad. And so that's why I think I'm so passionate about for women doing hard things and the physical component, because that's the most tangible thing that you can really see with your own eyes of like, hey, I did this many reps, and it shows you what's already within you. It's not that you created anything different. It's already within you. You're just unlocking it, if that makes sense.
I love that. I think you and I have very similar stories in different ways, but like we have a lot of similar themes to our stories. And that's why you and I
Yeah.
are so aligned in our messaging. But gosh, I mean, I know one of the things that you love to speak about, Kelsey, is confidence. And, one thing
Mm,
that you like to talk about is the difference between perceived confidence and true self-confidence. So
yeah.
can you explain that a little bit more? What is the difference between the two?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I thought perceived confidence was like the one thing, you know? And for me, what perceived confidence was, and this might be for your audience, is like you're scrolling on social. You're seeing the smiling faces, you're seeing the amazing family, the amazing car, the amazing house, and all those things are great, right? I am not or like decreasing the value of any of those things, right? But we can see sometimes so many things external that we think, ooh, because they look like this physical body, or ooh, because they have this, whatever they have, that's confidence, right? And at least for me, Vanessa, when I was way younger, I just thought it was something you were born with or not. Like I was like, man, I saw the girls stepping up in the front of the classrooms and were up able to like talk in front of everybody. And I'm like, well, they just got something that I didn't get, I guess. And it wasn't until I went through my whole fitness journey initially where I was like, wow, confidence, if it isn't given, it's built. And this is what I really want to hit home with your audience is like true self-confidence. I heard this on a podcast and I will never forget this till I'm 6 feet under, is true self-confidence is self-trust. Okay. When you keep the promises you say you're going to keep, meaning, hey, I'm going to go wake up and train at 6 a.m. You go wake up and train at 6 a.m. Hey, I'm going to drink my big glass of water first thing in the morning. You drink your big glass of water first thing in the morning. And your audience might be saying like, hey, Kels, like that's not big enough, right? I need to do this big thing for me to gain the confidence that I think I need to have. And it's like, no. Confidence is truly built within yourself. And when you build that confidence, one, it's obtainable for anybody because it's not given. It's not just Vanessa has it and I don't have it. It's no, we build it and we are continuing to build it day in and day out. And as much as it can be built, just like a muscle, it can also atrophy, if we're not continually aware of it. And so that's where I really just want to hit home with, especially young girls and women of all ages, of you can have the confidence that you sometimes potentially see other people, but also don't mistake this perceived confidence for this true unshakable confidence, because those are two completely different things. Just because somebody's loud doesn't mean they have the confidence that is truly internal within themselves. And that's a feeling, Vanessa, that I hope every woman can experience and has the ability to experience.
Oh gosh, I mean, isn't that the truth? Because even what you just said there of confidence, it's a muscle, and it's something that if you aren't consistently training it, you aren't consistently working it, it does atrophy over time.
Yeah.
It's not something that even once you have it one day, it's there with you forever. It does ebb and flow. And it's something that all of us as women, we continuously have to work on over and over again. I
Yeah.
know, with our clients, like we often work on these things before they ever start losing weight, because so many women, and I'm sure you agree with this, you think that you're just going to magically become confident when you see that magic number on the scale. But for so many women, it doesn't happen. They get
Right.
to the dream number on the scale and they still aren't confident. They still aren't happy. And so then the goalpost just keeps on moving and they keep pushing off that confidence, that happiness.
Mm.
But for so many of us, we can create that at any point of where we are in our own health and fitness journeys. I mean, what are
So
your
good.
thoughts on this? Like, how do you like to teach women to start to actually develop that true self-confidence that you're talking about?
That's so good. I mean, I completely agree with you. It's like this goalpost that you just keep running after, and you're like, wait, I thought when I would get here, I would have it, but then you keep running, and you're just running your whole entire life, and you never truly feel that feeling. And like I said, it's not this once you said it, once you get it, it's rainbows and sunshine. It's continually growing you as a human, and growing what that means to you. And I'll share a story which might pull into your question a ton. So we do obviously like the all women strength events, and it's not for the women that are these massive, crazy athletes. We love to have them, but usually that's not who we draw in initially. It's women. We've had 12 all up to 72 years old. It's for
Wow.
the women. It's cool. Like Vanessa, I cannot wait for you to come to one because it's just like the
I have been
energy
dying
there.
to go to one.
Oh,
Every
it's
year when I see you put it on, I'm like, gosh, I really want to go.
yeah, I mean, it's just the feeling of it. And so we had so many women like come to the door and they just want to leave. Like they're like, no, 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 I'm not going up there doing that in front of the people. Whether it's deadlift, they're picking it up off the ground. Whether it's squat, we do a bunch of different other types of events too. But I remember this one specific woman. And at the Columbus location, because I live in Columbus, Ohio, I'm usually at that specific location. And she looks over at me, Vanessa, and she's like, nope, I don't want to do it. Like she was shaking, like actually viscerally shaking, but also physically shaking. She was so nervous. We had a massive crowd there, and she's never done something like this before. And so I was like, hey, take a deep breath. Like, you got this. You did not come just this far to get this far. And so she stepped up to the platform, and once again, she's looking out to all these different people staring at her because she's the only one on the platform right there. And you can tell she's shaken, and she gets down to her deadlift position and she pulls it up. And not only does she pull it up, she might as well just push it up to the stinking ceiling because she like pulled it up easy. And in that moment, oh, this gives me goosebumps every time I think about it. Like her face was just off the charts. Her eyes got so big, her mouth got so big. Like she truly was surprised at what she just did. She was surprised physically, yes, wow, that was a lot of weight, but she was also surprised of like, wait, I didn't die. Like the thing that I thought I was going to die in, like I didn't die, and I showed myself that I can do it. And for me, like that's where even a different level of confidence is built is, yes, keeping promises to yourself, but it's also when you do something that makes you uncomfortable, wildly uncomfortable. That might be walking to the mailbox, that might be walking a mile, that might be doing a empower meet, that whatever that is, making a career change, like you starting your business. It's like when you do that and you show to yourself like, wait, I can actually do that. There is a confidence that's built within you that like nobody can take away. No car, no handbag, no whatever can replace that feeling deeply internally. So that's a big motivator. And honestly, what I try to also instill in women is like, set your goals high, like set your sights high, because when you reach them, you actually do things you never thought you could do. And there's such a deeper confidence that is built internally within yourself.
I mean, I can absolutely attest to that. And that's an incredible story just of what you were sharing there. And I just,
Yeah.
man, it makes me even more want to be there in person next time.
We'll fly
But
you up. Or we'll get down in Florida. We'll have one down in Florida. Even
I would love
better.
that. I would love that. Well, I mean, I can absolutely just what I was saying there too is I can really attest to that because I've been there myself. And, like you were saying, when you were in the gym in college and you didn't believe that you could squat that 95-pound barbell the way you could, and then you doubled your amount of reps. So many women like myself too have similar stories, if not the exact same type of story. And ladies, if you're listening, like if you have not experienced that moment in the gym for yourself yet, keep
Yeah.
pushing, keep showing up because you're going to have that moment one day. And that's why so many of us, we might be a little bit crazier on the side of the things that we like to do, but so many women start to get addicted to the gym, addicted to that feeling of fitness. It's because it's that feeling of pushing yourself and the true confidence that comes from that starts to become your driving force to keep showing up day after day. It's really
So good.
amazing. Yeah,
Yeah. Can I say something one thing about that? Because it just
of
made me think of
course.
it too. Because I know this was being a lot of our girls, like, especially if you are new into training and that's a new thing. You might have done different things before, but actually like picking up some weight is different for you. I think a lot of women specifically think their hard is their hard when they have a whole nother level, if that makes sense. Like I've had actually one of our assistant coaches back in the day when I first met her. I had her do like a goblet squat with me. We were all training together. She's from the same area. And she was doing like maybe 35 pounds in a goblet squat. That's where you hold the weight in front if you can't see it on video. And she was like, oh, like this is pretty hard. I'm like, go up, like you can go up. And she did 45, and then she did 55. She went up to 100 pounds doing the same amount of reps on a goblet squat. And it's not about doing 100 pounds on goblet squat, but what she thought her 35 was her hard was 70 more pounds than that, you know? And so if you're, like I said, keep yourself safe. I'm from my background sports medicine, so don't get injured, you know, but like truly push your hard, like go to the next level, because that's where you're going to find out like, oh, wait, I thought that that was my hard when really this is a whole nother level that I can get to.
I love it. Amazing. Well, I mean, Kelsey, let's talk a little bit about Mission 48 here again.
Yeah.
So you are starting Mission 48 on September 1st. Is that right?
Oh, Lord. Yes. It's like 55 days away from when we're recording this.
Awesome. And how or can people even like join in on these competitions, or how does that work?
Yes, please. Like no matter where I go. So what we're doing, Vanessa, in every single state, we'll release like the whole schedule. We're actually like finalizing the venues and everything right now. But we'll release the whole schedule, and whatever location that we're in, we're gonna have an event for the local community. So like let's say somebody lives in North Dakota and it's like, oh, like once you come to North Dakota, whatever I'm doing there, we'll always have a scalable event. So say I'm doing something crazy, which Lord knows is a lot of it, we'll always have a scalability where it's like, oh, I can't do that, but hey, here's an option. And then actually, my massage therapist that's coming with me for the 48 days, she had this idea, and I freaking loved it, Vanessa, and it ties into your question. So she is like a body fanatic. She let's keep this body moving. And I went over to her house one day, and she's like, "Hey, Kel," she goes, "I have an idea. Like, share it with me." She goes, "In every single state, your heart might be this crazy powerlifting meet, right? But I'm gonna walk a mile in every single state." And like that was her heart. She goes, like, I need to like physically get ready and fit enough to walk a mile in every single state. And I was like, Denise, I love that. And I was like, it's about pushing whatever that heart is. And so in every single state, yes, you can do it with me. We're also going to have like walk 1 mile with Denise, where she'll have like her own little crew too. It'll be incredible.
That is
So
awesome.
we're gonna, it's amazing. She's just a great human too. So we're gonna have that in every single state. So please come out. I would love it. I need it more than I think anybody knows. And then also we're in the process of putting this together, but we're gonna do like a big 48-day virtual challenge where, like, let's say you're in Columbus, Ohio, and you're like, I can't go with you for 48 days. We'll have it where you can do it at home or do it in your gym and like do a scalable version too. So that's still in process, but if you can come out, I would absolutely love it.
Amazing. And so Mission 48, obviously it is to benefit rocks. How does that
Mm-hmm.
work? How can people support if, somebody or a company wants to help support Mission 48 and what you're doing? How can we get involved?
Yeah, yeah. No, so Rocks is an amazing charity. They do, like you said at the beginning of the podcast, just to refresh people's noggins, is they do 20-week programs in schools for young girls. And like they talk about leadership, they talk about communication. And Vanessa, I'm not going to say the statistics because I'm going to botch them, which I really need to refresh my brain on them. But like the statistics of what confidence drops from like 6th to 8th grade in young girls, and it never actually rebounds to like pre-6th grade levels is crazy. And like they do a bunch of data driven decisions with it. I love their organization. So we'll have like a whole if you go on my website kelseylensman.com, we have a Mission 48 tab, and we have like a whole donate to rocks tab, and every girl for every $100 sponsors one girl for their program. And I have no clue how we're going to get there, to be honest with you, but our goal is to fund 10,000 girls, which is a good chunk of money, I'll tell you that. But I mean, think about it. If you can really change one girl's trajectory of her life, her confidence, like you're changing the ripple effect on so many, you know? And so that's our big goal, Vanessa. We still have a long way to go, but I'm excited just to be able to, push some good words out and with people.
Oh man. Well, I mean, I bet from this podcast, there's going to be somebody out there who's moved and who wants to help as well. Is there a place we can go to donate to help support
Yeah.
the mission?
Yeah, I'll send you all this stuff too for show notes. But if you go, like I said, my website, kelseylensman.com, and then there's a Mission 48 tab. If you scroll down, there's a rocks donation. We still have a long way to go to even take the ground off for Mission 48. So like to sponsor Mission 48, it is more than appreciated. So all of that's there. We'll post like our actual schedule and everything. And that is like the hub if you want to know anything about Mission 48 there.
Awesome. Well, I definitely would encourage all of you to get involved, support Kelsey, her mission, and everything that they're doing within Mission 48. I mean, Kelsey, this has been amazing. before we wrap up here, is there anything else you want our listeners to take away from this episode?
Oh, Vanessa, I would say if you're listening to this, and this is just coming to my heart right now, to be honest with you, if you are listening to this, number one, keep listening, because there is such value in putting good words in your ear and good messages in your ear from a human like Vanessa. Like, it is like, keep listening to this, number one. But then also, I might be sharing this and it's like, well, that's something cool that she's doing. Like, but what special do I have about me? You know, I thought that so much when I would listen to these podcasts, like, oh man, that's an amazing idea. Or that's incredible what she's doing. Like, but like, what do I have? You know, and I want to say for the person listening in their car and their earphones when they're working out, like, whoever you are, you have that something special in you. And your biggest superpower is that it's being you, you know, and you might not see it now. You might not see how everything's coming together. You might not see how, man, what I think is actually a weakness is actually such a strength of yours. But keep on progressing in the journey of you. In my opinion, there is no better life lessons than learning more about yourself, because then you uncover more things about yourself. And so just know, like, yes, what I'm doing is cool. It's amazing. It's my dream, you know, but pursue your dream and pursue whatever is in your heart, and that you have something so special within you that I want to make sure you're not forgetting when you're listening to something like this. And for me, that's super important, Vanessa.
Oh, beautifully said. And I appreciate the kind words as well. Well, everybody, definitely give Kelsey a follow on Instagram. I'll share her Instagram, her YouTube, her website, everything down in the show notes below, as well as the page where you can go to donate to support Mission 48 and Rocks, and really support Kelsey on this incredible mission that she is about to embark on September 1st. Well, Kelsey,
Lord.
I will definitely be following along. I really want to see how you do, but I am just so impressed by everything that you're taking on here. And I am really, really honored to be your friend, because I really, truly think that the people that you surround yourself really uplift you. And you are one of those people who really inspires me to push harder, like you were saying.
I appreciate Vanessa, and I appreciate you having me. We were talking about this off screen a little bit, how the hardest part, honestly, is getting this word out there of like actually what we're doing. So I just appreciate you having me on, and just keep doing what you're doing. Like, you are literally changing so many people's lives, and that ripple effect, I mean, it's going to be felt for many, many, many years. So appreciate you, and I'll get you whatever we're doing down in Florida. I'll let you know so you can come in.
Yeah, please do. Well, everybody, thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Vanessa G Fitcast. We'll be back next week.